Excellencies, distinguished delegates, colleagues, and friends. I apologize for not being able to join you for the high-level ministerial roundtable on the International Treaty, Climate Change, and Food Security during the 69th session of the United Nations General Assembly, but I thank you for the opportunity to make some remarks through this video. The theme of this ministerial roundtable touches on food security, climate change, and biodiversity, some of the most serious issues faced by the world today and key challenges that feature strongly in contemporary discussions to establish a sustainable development agenda post-2015. This is also reflected in the theme for the International Year currently being observed by the United Nations. 2014 has been declared the International Year of Family Farming due to the significant role of family farming in eradicating hunger and poverty, providing food security and nutrition, improving livelihoods, managing natural resources, protecting the environment, and achieving sustainable development. Family farmers are custodians of biodiversity. They are intrinsically linked to their landscapes, transmitting knowledge, skills, practices, and technologies from generation to generation, playing a major role in the sustainable use and conservation of biodiversity. Family farmers have relied on ecosystem services of biodiversity for hundreds of years to develop crops that evolve and adapt to changing environmental conditions. Indeed, food, agriculture, and biodiversity are closely intertwined. The genetic diversity of crops, both domesticated varieties and their wild relatives, is an essential resource and provides security for the continued improvement of crop varieties, particularly under a changing climate. Increasing the resilience of food production systems and landscapes significantly reduces risks from weather-related disasters such as floods, droughts, and landslides. It is in this light that we may appreciate the critical importance of plant genetic diversity for achieving food security and sustainable development. The conservation and sustainable use of this biological diversity is at the heart of both the International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food and Agriculture, as well as the Convention on Biological Diversity and its Nagoya Protocol on Access and Benefit Sharing. The Nagoya Protocol was adopted in 2010 to further the third objective of the Convention regarding access to genetic resources and the fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from their use. I am pleased to inform you that with the strong commitment of parties, we were able to reach the required number of ratifications for the protocol to enter into force on October 12, 2014, thereby enabling the first meeting of the Conference of the Parties serving as the meeting of the parties to the Nagoya Protocol to be held from the 13th to the 17th of October 2014, concurrently with the 12th meeting of the Conference of the Parties to the Convention in Pyeongchang, Republic of Korea. The entry into force of the Nagoya Protocol opens a new area of cooperation between the CBD and the treaty. The protocol recognized the special nature of genetic resources for food and agriculture, and I have no doubt that mutually supportive implementation of the protocol and the treaty can ensure enhanced access to genetic resources and the sharing of benefit arising from their use. Both the treaty and the protocol also recognize the important role of communities in conserving and sustainably using plant genetic resources. It's essential that traditional knowledge is valued appropriately by those who use it. This means making sure that access to traditional knowledge associated with genetic resources is subject to prior informed consent of the indigenous and local communities involved and that they obtain fair and equitable benefits arising from its use. With respect to collaboration between the treaty and the CBD, further to the Memorandum of Cooperation signed at COP10 to enhance collaboration in areas of mutual interest, we have launched a joint initiative of cooperation at the margins of the Rio+20 Earth Summit regarding activities in support of the ratification of the Nagoya Protocol and its harmonious implementation with the treaty and its multilateral system for access and benefit sharing. The CBD International Treaty Joint Initiative foresees, inter alia, expanded joint capacity building initiatives, continuation of preparation of joint materials on ABS for the harmonious implementation of the two instruments, continued coordination and sharing of expertise on information management for ABS, and facilitation of greater interaction. We have already embarked on a number of these activities together, such as a series of joint capacity building workshops. Now, we need to demonstrate that our collaboration can bring new value added and clear results to governments and society as a whole. I would like in particular to promote a broad collaborative partnership with the treaty and other institutions to strengthen the in situ conservation of agrobiodiversity for food security. This would contribute to achieving Aichi Biodiversity Targets 11, 13, and 18 of the Strategic Plan for Biodiversity, as well as Targets 9 and 13 of the Global Strategy for Plant Conservation of the CBD. Associated with this, we have also launched the Bridging Agriculture and Conservation Initiative, which, under the leadership of Biodiversity International, brings together the science on agriculture and conservation communities to find ways to articulate sustainable intensification of food production with the ability of landscapes to regenerate and provide multiple goods and services. Excellencies, I would also be remiss if I did not recall that 2011 to 2020 is the United Nations Decade on Biodiversity. The decade contributes to the implementation of the Strategic Plan for Biodiversity, which was adopted at the 10th meeting of the Conference of the Parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity in 2010. Aichi Biodiversity Target 16 on the Strategic Plan concerns the entry into force and operation of the Nagoya Protocol by 2015. The entry into force of the protocol will contribute to enhancing the benefits to all from biodiversity, and it represents a major step towards achieving Target 16 prior to our target date. We are also well underway to meeting the second part of this target, which is making the protocol operational. I know countries are working very hard nationally to make the protocol operational. Furthermore, on October 12th, the date of entry into force of the protocol, we will launch a fully functional access and benefit sharing clearinghouse, which will enable parties to share their national information for implementation of the protocol. These movements in the right direction afford strong reasons to believe that we will be able to declare that we have achieved Target 16 on time, and with that make an important step in mainstreaming biodiversity into sustainable development. In the same vein, the implementation of the Nagoya Protocol and our cooperation with the treaty will certainly be of valuable importance in the achievement of the proposed Sustainable Development Goals, which are set to build upon the Millennium Development Goals and become part of the post-2015 development agenda to be adopted next year by the UN General Assembly. I also take this opportunity to encourage those countries that have not already ratified the protocol to expedite your national processes to this end. Our intention is that countries that deposit their instrument of ratification prior to the opening of the meeting of the parties on October 13th will be able to participate fully in the development of decisions during the meeting and thus also contribute to the further development and implementation of the protocol. We are all deeply aware of the challenges facing our common goal of achieving sustainable food production and nutrition security, and the important role biodiversity and genetic resources can play in meeting these challenges. The achievements under the Nagoya Protocol will contribute to strengthening the implementation of the treaty, while the treaty's successes will support the CBD in the accomplishment of our mandate. I thus could not be more pleased with our cooperation to date, and I look forward to many more opportunities for us to work together in the future as a contribution towards achieving the global goals. I wish you all a very successful and productive meeting. Thank you for your kind attention.